Hello everyone, it is I, Ned, freelance cheesemonger to the stars. Here today with this week's Cheese of the Week, an Irish chowder style called Coolea. Let's have a look at it. So this is made in Ireland, County Cork. It's got a wonderful, rich, almost orange colour to the paste, which I think is a lot down to the amazing pasture of Ireland, not known as the Emerald Isle for nothing, but also in particular County Cork, which is a hotbed of cheese making in Ireland. Notice it's a very dense, close texture that is a characteristic of chowder styles. By the way, I'm saying chowder because I'm trying to sound authentically Hollandy, but a lot of you all know it as Gouda, which is better because then you can make all the puns about how it is a Gouda enough cheese. It's made by a fellow called Dickie Willems. He's a Dutch Irishman. He has the best accent in the world, which I'm not even going to attempt to imitate. Hi, Dickie. And his parents came over from Holland to live in Ireland in the 70s, where they thought they were going to kind of chill out a bit and maybe semi-retire, or at least live a quiet rural life. But they decided to make some cheese, and this was kind of a fateful thing for them to do because it became so popular, this wonderful cheese of theirs, that they ended up having to basically set up a proper business. So be careful. You might do a bit of homemade cheese making one day and months later find yourself up to your elbows in a vat. One of my all-time favourite stories about cheese making comes from Dickie Willems, and it was about the first time he ever made this cheese, and I think he was about 16. I'm sorry if I've got the details wrong, Dickie, but my version is great. Anyway, so let's say that little Dickie's 16 there, and his mum had to go away, so he had to make the cheese on his own, and what she did was she made him a tape with the cheese instructions on. Now, for the younger people, a tape is an obsolete form of audio playback technology, and you can't just skip tracks. You've got to rewind to get to the place you need. So here's Dickie. He listens to a bit of the tape, presses pause, runs over to the vat, does a bit of stirring, forgets what he's supposed to do, runs back to the tape, rewinds it, listens to it again, goes back. He said it wasn't a very good batch of cheese. But obviously, in the, 20, 30 years since then, he's really managed to nail his craft, because this is a glorious cheese. I am going to tell you a bit about what it tastes like very soon, but I just want to say a few more things about it. So it's a pasteurised cheese. Now, when you're a younger monger, you get into this thing, the zeal of the newly converted, that the only good cheese is raw milk cheese, unpasteurised cheese. And this is true that many of them are wonderfully complex, long flavoured cheeses that really express the character of the farm where they're made. But it's not the be-all and end-all of cheese making. And if you're a fantastic cheese maker, which I think Dickie is, that may not be such a crucial variable. So anyway, I asked him once, hey, Dickie, you do the pasteurised milk cheese. Do you want to make raw milk cheese? And he said, it's good, isn't it, Ned? And I said, God, yeah, it's amazing. He said, do you think it could be any better? And I said, I don't think so. He said, well, how's that then? And he also said there's so many variables in what you do with making cheese that he felt if he could just collapse one of them into a less varying variable, if I'm allowed to say that, by pasteurising his milk, it would just make his life a bit easier. One of the variables he told me about, is another of my favourite little tales, is that he records the weather for every day that the cows are out, because when it rains, the cows go and sit under the hedges or under trees. They shelter there and they eat whatever's going under there, which is different from the grass and the less sheltered parts of the pasture, and this changes how the milk behaves. So he records the weather so that when he's maturing cheese and it's, say, a year old, he can look back at what the weather's like and say, oh, that's why this one tastes like this, which I just think is immensely cool. So onto the taste of the cheese. Coolea is, I think, so far for me, the sweetest cheese I've ever eaten. But it is not just sweet, it tastes of burnt sugar, a kind of caramelised toffee-ish flavour. It also has some nuts, but kind of toasty hazelnuts, lots of butter. It's basically like fancy salted caramel for grown-ups. Absolutely gorgeous. It is also very popular with kids who seem to like sweet things. So if you're trying to get your small person into proper cheese, give them a bit of Coolea. And the last thing I'll say about it is it's very nice with chili jam. This may sound odd to you, but I promise you it is the case. Particularly spicy chili jam, Coolea, absolutely lovely. And that's this week's Cheese of the Week, Coolea from County Cork, made by the lovely Dickie Willems. Thank you very much.